Assalamu alaikum and good greetings. So in the previous video I have posted a question which carry a certain element of accusation, if you may, where I ask whether Nabeel Qureshi actually blatantly lie. We'll take a look at the clip where his statement that is false is categorically false. Hence my question, why did he say that? Did he lie? So first the clip.
Because, for example, in Surah Al-Imran, when Allah is talking to Moses, it says in Surah Al-Imran, I think it's Surah Al-Imran, it might be Surah 18, but double check, that Allah, as He spoke to Moses, Allah was in the bush. Allah was in the bush. So if you want to say that meant something else, well, you're going to have to argue with the Quran on that one.
So I hope you catch what he said. He said that in the Quran, of course, he made a mistake in terms of in which surah it is. He mentioned he cannot recall whether it is in Surah Al-Imran or Surah number 18. But it's actually in Surah number 28, which is Surah Al-Qasas. But anyway, that's just a mistake. But he said, and he accused or he claimed that in the Quran, it is said that as God spoke to Musa, God or Allah is in the bush. Allah is in the bush. Just let's replay that part so that you know what exactly I'm saying.
That Allah, as He spoke to Moses, Allah was in the bush. Allah was in the bush.
So you get that, right? He actually mentioned it as such. He didn't say that he interpret the verse as such, etc. He said as if the verse actually clearly say that Allah is in the bush, which is, I have shown it is clearly false. Now from there I went on to ask, why did he say that? Did he blatantly lie? Now, why did I assume that is a possibility that he actually lied? He know what the verse said and he actually lied to say something that is not there. One, I assume he is very familiar with the Quran. Second, I assumed he was very good in Arabic. He understands Arabic. Hence, there's no reason for him to actually say that. I do not have any other assumption. For example, he have like a problematic memory, etc. I do not know. I don't assume it as such, right? So hence, that's my question. Now, after that, there are some comments with regard to whether he lied or not, and there's one comment that I want to highlight here, which actually offer a different possibility that maybe he didn't lie, but there's other explanation. So let's take a look at that comment. Alright, so the comment actually highlighted, this is Surah Al-Qasas verse 30, and this is the translation. But when he come to it, he was called from the side of the valley, the right in the place, even blessed from the tree that, and then this is what he heard, like, "O Musa, indeed I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds." So this is the explanation that catch my interest. If Moses was called ... this is truncated, from the tree, because this is from the tree, right? Then naturally the one who reads this ayah would assume that the speaker, or at least the speaker's voice, is in the tree. Like I and Nabeel said, what that means exactly can be debated later. So okay, this is quite interesting what that means, but what that means is based on this assumption, right? So those who read would assume. So that's number one. And number two, but that is what the text implies, especially given the Bible's account. So I think there's 2 points worthy of highlighting here. Number one is this assumption, because just when you read this, you would assume this one thing. And number two, especially given the Bible's account. Right, so I think from there, it's easier for me to understand that for someone who already accepted the Bible and accepted the stories in the Bible to be true, and in the Bible there's this story and it is said or it is implied, I'm not sure, I haven't referred to the Bible, but from the Christians that have shared, it appears that the Bible indicates that God, come into the world and is there. So if he come to the verse in the Quran having that belief first and foremost, and then realizing it or not, projected that onto the verse to actually eventually make the assumption that as mentioned there, and then concluded that it must mean that the verse is saying that God or Allah is there in itself, right? So number one, I hope it is clear that as Nabil said it, and Allah is in the bush. Of course, there's no bush here, but if we want to replace it by tree also, Allah is in the tree, for example, right? So number one, the verse never say that. It is clear from the previous video. Anyway, number two, okay, so at least this offer another explanation where, you know, because of your belief, you come into another text projecting what you already believe in onto the verse, when the verse actually never said that. Okay, so maybe that can be understood as honest mistake, perhaps honest, you know, without realizing it, he is actually imposing or, you know, projecting something onto the verse when it is not there. And then later on he might not realize it, so he actually thought that the verse actually say that when it never say that. Of course, it doesn't, you know, take away from the fact that what he said is categorically false, you know, totally false, wrong, but he didn't intentionally or make a false statement, right? So that's probable. So thank you for the commenter that highlighting that possibility, so that I could understand people more, because that's my intention and my interest anyway. I would like to understand, why do people believe what they believe, or why would people say what they say. Before, I always been puzzled when some Christian says something about the Quran and I see the Quran, it doesn't say that. But this really explained it well, when some Christian actually keep projecting what they already believe in onto the verse when there are some similarity. They're projecting a whole lot more onto the verse without realizing it, right? Maybe they didn't even realize that they are projecting on the verse. So yeah, at least I can understand why certain, you know, things are mentioned, especially in my comment section. I see that a lot. It puzzles me previously, but now perhaps this explained. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment and have any other things that I didn't realize, so that I understand people better, and see you in the next video.